Okay, everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today, I am gonna rate the finishes that I've taken in this ring that have hurt the most. Some have hurt, some barely hurt. We're gonna rate these in tiers to see which one hurt the most. S being the top one, and of course, C being the least one that hurt. So let's get started. The first one's going to be the Stone Cold Stunner. Now, I will say this, it doesn't necessarily have to hurt, so to speak, if you know how to take it. It can also jar your neck. You can also bite your lip, and I've done that many a times because I didn't know how to take it until I saw some people take it and how they made it look spectacular. So when I first took it, it wasn't pretty at all. Not only did I jar my neck, but I also bit my lip on top of that. So I'm gonna have to say the Stone Cold Stunner will probably be a B. And I say a B is because once you know how to take it, it's easy from there. And you can put the over dramatics into it like so many other people have.
Like The Rock.
And so with that, again, I'm gonna rate it a B because it was one of the smoothest ones that I've ever taken with the least amount of pain. The next one up is the Tombstone Driver.
This should be a C.
I've taken that many times, but I will say this, when you have someone that knows what they're doing and then can protect you, then it's easy. It's like one of the easiest bumps you can ever take, but it's also one of the scariest because it only takes one time for a slip to happen or for your neck not to be in the right place at the right time, or I should say your head, and it's all over. It's gonna hurt.
My boy
Stone Cold Steve Austin, him and Owen Hart. Of course, we all know the story. Owen Hart did a power driver, which broke Steve's neck, which almost ended his career. Now, again, this is something that can be extremely dangerous. This is a move that was outlawed in WWE after that. And with that being said, I'm gonna have to rate this one an A. And I say A because of the fact that it's a scary thing. You don't know.
Anything can happen.
What could possibly happen if your neck is not positioned the right way in between the guy's legs, so when he goes down to his knees, he's not jarring your neck into that mat. So it can be dangerous, and at the same token, if the guy knows what he's doing, it can be as easy as pie. Now for my next finisher that I'm gonna go over is the Batista Bomb. Now I've taken that before many times with Dave, not to mention when he was Deacon Batista, right before we separated. And Dave is a very big and powerful man at that time. And with that being said, he didn't know his own strength at times. So when he would pick you up and jack you into that mat, that would hurt like crazy. So I'm gonna have to put that in the S tier because it did really hurt. And Dave, remember, I owe you one, but we can settle this. You give me a movie part in your movie. Now for the next finishing move would have to be the Pedigree. Now I remember back in ECW, a wrestler by the name of Nova gave me the Pedigree and I didn't know how to take it. He asked me, he goes, have you ever taken this before? And I kind of lied a little bit and said, yeah, of course I did. Because I wasn't trying to look like the young boy who never took moves before and didn't know what I was doing. And of course, he puts it on me, drives me down with the Pedigree, and not only did it jar my neck, but I heard cracking sounds going on afterwards. And I remember for about 3 to 4 months straight, I would turn my head this way, I would hear cracking. I would turn it this way, and I would hear cracking. It messed me up for a while. But luckily, no severe damage was done. I will say this, when I took the Pedigree from Triple H, easy, no issues, no problems. Anytime I ever worked with Hunter, it was very easy, no problems. So I'm gonna have to say that has to be a C.
Oh, a C. Okay.
All right, boys, you know I know a thing or two about ladders. Your ladder could be standing up tall and saluting to your lady. Keep it going like a genetic jackhammer. I mean, just keep pounding and pounding. And I suggest you do what I do, or what so many are doing today, and that's Blue Chew.
I knew it, my boy.
The next move we're gonna talk about is the attitude adjustment. Now, I've been in the ring with John Cena many times, and I will say this, that attitude adjustment was as smooth can be.
Oh, it didn't even hurt.
And I'm not just saying that because what's going on with John right now, but I'm saying because it was the truth. That finishing move right there was as smooth as pie. So again, just like some of the other moves I said was smooth, I'm gonna have to say this one was smooth as well. So I'll give this one a C tier.
Okay.
Now for my next move I'm gonna have to put out there is the F5.
Ooh,
now I'm gonna be honest with you,
bro.
that was a little brutal, especially if Brock Lesnar is giving it to you. Don't get me wrong, he would protect you if he liked you, but if he didn't, he'd kill you. Thank God he liked me, so he never had to do that to me.
So
but still, when you're getting put on somebody's shoulders and they flip you around and you land on that mat, it hurts. Because sometimes you don't land flat. So you have to really, really brace yourself. And do not hold your breath. I repeat, do not hold your breath. Because that will knock the wind out of you even more. I'm gonna have to give that move an S tier.
Ooh,
hey man, sorry, but that really hurts. The spear, or some people call it the Gore Rhino. I've taken that move many times, not only from Rhino, but from other people as well. I even took it from Roman Reigns when Bubba and I returned back to the WWE. And I gotta say, it's very impactful, especially when you got a guy who's a big guy, who's gonna ram his shoulder right into your midsection area. And I'll be honest with you, it would knock the wind out of me, even if I didn't hold my breath. It was a rough bump to take.
Probably like an S,
but it wasn't dangerous,
nor
did it knock me out of commission for a while. It was something that, again, you're 5, 10, 15 minutes into a match, and now all of a sudden somebody charges you full force and rams their shoulder right into your lower abdomen. So I'm gonna have to give that move an S tier.
Oh, an S.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the submissions. Let's start with the Walls of Jericho.
I know this hurts.
When I worked with Jericho, I worked with Jericho a lot during my time in WWE and when he was there. And there were a couple of times where he did put on the Walls of Jericho. And because my knees were bad at the time, and still are to this day somewhat, whenever he would wrench back on it, I was screaming in pain for real. Because I didn't want to tap out. Of course, if I tap out, it's over. That wasn't the finish. It did hurt because, again, you're wrenching back on knees that don't want to go back.
That shit look painful,
and that chronic pain,
sometimes
sharp
he'll put
pain
like his head,
that shoot into those kneecaps. So I was in a lot of pain when those moves were made, but
and then he'll pull
I will
back
say
on your knees.
I survived.
Painful,
so I'm gonna have to give that one
an A.
The S tier.
S tier.
At least for me, that is.
Shit.
The mandible claw. Even though we just had Mick Foley on the show, didn't really want to tell him that his move was kind of like a truth. Because think about it. He's got Mr. Sacco in his trunks. After wrestling 10 to 15 minutes in a match, he reaches down into his crotch, takes that sock off, put it on his hand, and now he's going to put those fingers in your mouth. Come on, man. Can't say that I like that at all. But it's pro wrestling. You got to do what you got to do. And I'm not the only one that took that move. So just on pure smell alone, good God, I'm going to give that an S tier.
Yeah, bro. That's an understandable
the
S.
Frog splash.
Understandable
Although it's not a submission, you might wish it was after getting frog splashed by, say, someone like RVD, who is pure muscle with the legs and the hips and all of that. And when that body comes crashing down on you, brother, it's like no other. It will knock you through tomorrow. And me and Rob laugh about it all the time because he's hit me with that frog splash many times. There's a lot of people that hit me with it. I didn't feel anything. But the density of his legs and the power that he had in it, when he come crashing down, it was like a blob of cement coming down and knocking the wind out of you. So with that, I'm gonna have to make it an S tier.
I know that shit hurt.
The Styles Clash. With that particular move, it can be dangerous, don't get me wrong. You're kind of somewhat upside down. He takes his legs and kind of hooks your arms. He jumps up in the air and comes flat down on your face. So again, it's something that you have to be a little careful of, especially if you don't tuck your head the right way or tuck it in time. The person that gave it, which was AJ Styles, was truly a professional and knew what he was doing. I've taken that with AJ, and I would have to say, easy as easy can be. So because of that, I'm gonna have to give that the C tier.
Okay.
The Angle Slam. Now, I've been in the ring with Kurt Angle many times, and I will say, brother, he was a pleasure to be in that ring with. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was a machine. No one could stop him. But when he gave you that finishing move, you knew it was over, especially when those straps came down. Watch out, because he was definitely a force to be reckoned with. So I'm gonna have to say the angle slam, very, very good, very safe. So I'm gonna have to put that in the C tier. Just because, again, when you have somebody like Kurt Angle, who's a professional and knows what he's doing, it's not gonna hurt at all. The clothesline from hell. Now, anybody will tell you, if you took the clothesline from hell, from Bradshaw, from APA, he would try to take your head off. There was a lot of times where he knocked me through tomorrow, but you know something? It just goes with the territory. That's just the way it is. He would whip you into the corner, you come bouncing out, he would hit the opposite way, come over, and that line from hell would flip you inside out. And he would do it on purpose. I know he did, because he would laugh every time he gave it to me, because he would hear a god-awful, oh, every time he hit me. But you know something? Loved working with him and Ron, and never had a bad thing to say about those guys. It might have been stiff, it might have hurt, but we never complained. So I'm gonna have to give the clothesline from hell the S tier.
Damn,
sorry,
bro, it actually hurt. Fuck.
That shit hurt.
I don't think it hurt. I thought he was safe.
Now, you know something? I've been in the ring with The Rock many a times. Hell, I put it on my social media, on Instagram, at Testify Devon, and I've showed it many a times. But I will say this, probably the easiest move I had ever taken in pro wrestling. The finisher wasn't a dangerous one, it was a safe one. So the tier I would like to put that in is the C tier. And I'm not taking anything away from the Rock Bottom. He's won many a matches and has captured titles with that finisher. But as far as being safe, probably one of the safest moves you'll ever take. So I'm definitely gonna put that in the C tier and say thank you for not dropping that elbow where it could have been dropped. Now, my next move I'm gonna talk about is somebody who I've been in the ring with, I've been up and down the highways together with, Jeff Hardy's Swanton dive.
I heard it, don't
Jeff, I've said it many a times, you hurt me.
Oh, it hurt.
But I will say, being in the ring with you was a pleasure, up until the finisher of the match.
Oh, I didn't know.
You go up on that top rope, and you're like no other. You got to jump off of there and get to hit that swanton, and man, it's like a sack of bricks just laying right on you. It would knock the wind out of me. In all honesty, you know, even though it was a stiff bump at times, I would say Jeff took care of me the majority of the time. But there were times where he landed on me, all that body weight just came crashing down. So with that, Jeff,
that's an S.
No disrespect, I'm gonna have to give that the S tier as being the move that hurt the most and probably the dangerous move out there. So I'll give that the S tier and I won't go any lower. So my next move I'm gonna talk about, even though it's been hit on me many times, not only as a finish, but even something that would stop me and Bubba in a match, and it was the choke slam. The choke slam can be a very dangerous move because think about it. You're being lifted up by your neck by someone, say The Undertaker. He lifts you up as high as he possibly can. And remember, the man is 7 feet tall already. So that's a long Not to mention, even if you're getting lifted up by Big Show, who's even taller than Taker. And as high as you are, they hold you up there. And when the time is right, they bring you down. And I mean, knocking the wind out of you is an understatement. Hell, I've even heard of guys crapping on themselves after landing, and that's no joke. The fortunate part is I've never done that. I never crapped on myself at taking a choke slam, but damn it, I felt like I did. So I'm gonna have to say, the choke slam is definitely the S tier, because although it's probably visually, if you look at it, one of the safest bumps you'll probably take, but yet when you're taking it, it's brutal.
Now that shit looks rough.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining us on this video.
There was a lot of moves on here that I did not think would be painful. Like the choke slam. I mean, I mean, of course I know it's gonna hurt, but I didn't think it would hurt that bad, Chet. I didn't think it would hurt that bad. But that's the most painful move he ever took. The Batista Bomb, that's understandable. The Gore, that's understandable. The Walls of Jericho, I didn't think that would be that painful either. Let me see. The Rock Bottom, I thought that would be painful. Or the Pedigree, I thought that would be painful, but it looks like it wasn't. Damn, there's a lot. Let me see what all he has here. So he has the Styles Clash at a C. the Stone Cold Stunner at a B, the Tombstone at an A, only because if you fuck up, you will fuck your neck up. So the Batista Bomb, the F5 is very understandable. That yes, that's an S tier. That shit hurts. The Spear depends on who's giving it. If you seen Braun Breaker shit, bro, hell no. The Mandible Claw, due to the circumstance of him wrestling all match long, he's sweaty. He pulls that sock out of his underwear and he puts it in your mouth. Yeah, that's an S tier, bro. That's gross. RVD's Frog Splash, because how high RVD jumps up in the air and it comes down on you. It's even points where when after he takes the bump, he's holding his stomach after he does the Frog Splash. That's how bad it is. So that's understandable. Let me see what else he has up here. But I did not think that the choke slam would be that painful. Swanton Bomb, he has it at S tier too. It's crazy. I did not, because I thought that that he took most of the damage, like his lower back. Chat, I thought that his lower back took most of the damage. I didn't think that it actually hurt. That's crazy. So this is the tier list right here. Batista Bomb, F5, Spear, Walls of Jericho, Mandible Claw, Frog Splash, the Clothesline from Hell. I thought that it was safe. Like he wouldn't even actually hit you. I thought he would just cup you. But yeah, it's painful. I can tell it's painful. I didn't think it was, but yeah. Oh yeah, understandable. Understandable. But yeah, that's the end of that video. You know what? I'm trying to do a little try not to laugh. I ain't gonna lie.